must have a question. There's a question for me, the Tyrant. I'm all new now, and I don't know if you've noticed. I've moved from Lamaris, basically got my own little Ask a Tyrant logo, and this is the first video. The 14th question. Feeling lucky. Another question from a friend of mine. Josie again. Same email last one that asked. No, it wasn't what did she ask? Where the MTO was. The one that found out about the backwards invisible maps. Yes, and I never told her about Harberry's invisible bath soap. But then again, I always wonder why those people sleep. Yes, so her question she has two, hasn't she? I have to answer one of them. Okay. What are the types of tyrants? Like the question that's right. We'll have to use the skimmed milk as an example. Now say this. Say that skimmed milk on my hair was actually a metaphoric acid which could at any minute embezzle my brain. Please just say that, because if I give away these answers, then they're going to want to do that to me, and it's not fun. Right. Well, basically, if you're actually wanting to know what tyrants are, I'll give you right, okay. Lawyers. Lawyers are tyrants. Lawyers, they do not use paper. Not at all. They don't use paper. They have lives in their hands all the time, more so than an executioner. A lawyer is a trained tyrant, a smart tyrant. Tyrants come in forms. You can have a stupid tyrant, right? You can have a tyrant who's a complete moron. I mean, a complete idiot. You can have one who just pours skimmed milk in his head and says it's acid. That kind of an idiot. Well, you can have one of those, and you can say to this guy, hey, by the way, I left my cheese pot in the moon. He'll go, I've just got a day late today. Let me go there. And you'll be like, okay, what type of tyrant are you? So you get pirates. You get pirate tyrants. You just know a pirate's a tyrant. I mean, I was asked that before. You outlaws. Outlaws, these people who sit in the back, right? You don't really do anything. They just sit there with their hands and they just smirk and laugh and and observe like lurkers, like leeches, like watching everything. Vampires, too, are also a type of tyrant. It's like an almost sealed agreement that once you die, you will be left with your tyrancy. You never thirst for blood. But not all tyrants are vampires. I'm not. Not at all, no. Like, what do you call that guy? He was a tyrant. I don't know, he became famous for a film. Queen of the Damned. He was, I don't know. He could play a really mean spider on the floor, like just kick it. It would be like a cat watching a cat knock over a mouse and not realize it's dead and walk away. And it's oblivious. Like the release in Evanescence air, there has to be another one. Death is also a tyrant. I've met him myself. He has not got a scythe. Not at all. Yes, 5 of them. And 5 of them, they don't use, like one of them's a crystal, one of them's solid black onyx, the other one is metal. The other one is a different, it's almost like a fabric made between silk and like dimensional fabrics. Another one is pure life. And I mean pure life. It's like beating blood. It is like a blade made completely out of blood. It just beats and it rivals and everything. And depending on what kind of death you're going to suffer is the type of one that he will use. But then again, Death himself, he has a selection of 5 different horses. And he also he has 5 fingers, and he likes 5 a lot. And I don't care about what your profession is before you become a tyrant. Once you become a tyrant, you're in it for life, unless you're death, when you're in it for death. Or taking death. He doesn't kill. You're then in it to collect souls. Well, he doesn't collect them because he gives them on to the afterlife. It's to guide souls on the path. Unless you're death, you are on it to guide souls on your path. Or Venus. But she's not as much as a tyrant. She used to be more of a seductress now, but most of them are tyrants. Most women are tyrants, to tell you the truth. You have more women tyrants than you have men. It used to be a bias thing, there was no women tyrants allowed, and now basically you're just ball busters. You say anything, bang! That's that's a 2-point split right between the legs. That is a boom. Like, I think they practice. I mean, I've seen them doing it. They'd be like, at the war when they were all fighting in the war. When the women were back and they were doing the stuff with like the cleaning, and they were going, wringing the neck, wringing the neck, and then the other one was like, boom, the rolling pin. They act as if they're just hitting down the dough, but rolling pin, rolling pin, rolling. And then there was that other one. That was the one that I heard. When they're training on one of those things, that hangs their legs and it's like, boom, kicking the nuts, boom, kicking the nuts, boom, kicking the nuts. And then, of course, there's you had them out there. They were all huge, old big chests, the huge women. I mean, they changed from skinny little. Who could say no to that kind of move? Right, you look at them during the war, right, and you see them, and they're like 18 foot tall, and they are looking down on you, and you can't even see their face like this. Big, huge thing of a woman. Now, before the war, how did you manage to control that? But during the war, they was like they went from skinny to this. I don't even know how you managed to say no to one of those. They're like yetis. And then, of course, the men came back and they're like, okay, we'll take back our jobs. And they're just like, I don't think so. And all the men they were all like, okay, we just fought the Nazis. I mean, you're nothing. And they're like, boom, kicking the neck, boom, kicking the nuts, 2-point split, bang, rolling pin, ring the neck. That's why they called it the ringer, when they used to do that. And they used to use stone irons and anything they could to make them really bulky. They became huge. They all became Tyrant. They just basically broke into the National Tyrant Association and said, we are becoming tyrants. And we were all like, I was there. I was like, I flew over a chair. And I was like, whoa, that is pure tyranny. Accepted. And they were all like, excellent, we are now tyrants. And after that, that's when they gained control over us. Accepting them as tyrants, we couldn't say no, but once they became tyrants, they gained control over the men. There's still jerks and thingies out there, the women haven't really became tyrants, but the ones that have became tyrants, you do not want to mess with one of those. They just rip out your throat. They're horrible, terrifying, absolutely terrifying. If you ever meet one of them, never, you say you want to meet a woman down a dark alley, you chase them down and that, and you chase one of these down a dark alley, and they basically turn around with like a full, I'm not kidding, a full car in the person. They'll knock you for fucking 6. And now what's that? We'll knock you for 6. That is knock you out basically in 6 seconds. So that will be you struck down for 6 minutes. That means that you'll be KO'd for 6 hours. You've spent 6 days in recovery. I'm not kidding. You won't be able to let go of your humiliation for 6 weeks. And people will make fun of you for it for 6 months. And people will remind you about it for 6 years. It is knocking you for 6. The female anatomy and it's like matter. And the tyrancy is also like matter. And when they fused together, they just became basically she-woman. It was like the Hulk, only the opposite, like the color, the female she-Hulk, if that's what her name was. Every woman became a terrifying woman. And it was all because of tyrants. So we take pride in that, There's no real pain in it for us, except, the part where they are, better than us. But apart from that, they may be better than us and may control us and may be more dominant than us. And so pirates, as I was saying, yes, pirates are obviously tyrants, and the other tyrants and cowboys are tyrants. And astronauts, not really tyrants. Pokemon is not ever tyrants. And a lot of other things are tyrants. I'm glad I was able to share this moment. I got the chance to speak about how 2 tyrants came around. A chance to speak about some war. And a chance to be myself for once, which isn't really what I'm never am. Thank you for your question.